Welcome back. All right, so we're going to go ahead and it's in between the second and third period of the three late games. I'm getting a start on my review. I'm going to do this now. We're going to start off talking about the New Jersey Devils and Arizona Coyotes, which to me feels like it was yesterday. So it's Kakinen versus Vejmelka. The shots are 2-1 for the Coyotes, 2.5 minutes in. Arizona would get a power play. Cooley has a shot that's tipped high. Power play's killed off 3 shots on net during that power play. Hischier has a rush chance that's blocked. The Devils press at 7 minutes. There's a near miss for Schmaltz, and then Mosier doesn't miss. He wires one from the slot. Durzi and Schmaltz with the assists at 9:37. We get a power play for the Devils. That's killed off. Devils press after it finishes, and then we get another power play for the Coyotes, and they score on this one. It's Gunther. He scores from Schmaltz and Keller at 14:02 to make it 2-0 for Arizona. Hughes to Hischier gets picked off, and then at 17:32, Logan Cooley gets a goal from Krause. It's 3-0 Arizona after the first. Not the kind of first period New Jersey wanted. Remember, they're still technically in the hunt for a playoff spot in the East. So second period, Dawes is in the net. Brad has a rush chance that's held. The Devils had the lone shot on net 3 minutes in. Pressed by New Jersey at 4 minutes. Brad has a net drive that's held. Smith fires one wide as the Devils press, and then at 7:01, DeSimone buries a rebound on a rush. Lazar and Jack Hughes with the assists. The shots are 5-4 for the Coyotes at 9 minutes. Howla has a one-timer that's held. Devils press with 9.5 minutes left. Holtz is denied and close with 1:42 left. The Devils get a power play. So it's 3-1 for Arizona after 2. Third period, the Coyotes finish the kill. Gunther has a turnover chance that's blocked. Bratt is denied on a rush. Holtz with a near miss on a net drive. We had a fight between McDermott and Brown. McDermott won that. Jack Hughes has a rush chance that's blocked. The Devils press are kept to the outside. There was a post for Nico Hischier. The shots are 7-5 for the Devils at the half. Honestly, I thought they played a good game. Just Vejmelka stoned him in this one. Ball has a one-timer that's saved. Puck's cleared out. Goalie pull happens with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left. Nemitz with a nice block on a Keller empty net attempt, but Keller would hit it anyways from Schmaltz at 18:29. Your final score in this one is 4-1. With the win, Arizona goes to 28-35-5 on the season. With the loss, New Jersey 32-31-4. So again, really hurts their chances. Arizona plays the role of spoiler today and played it well. Shots on net, 15-13 Arizona in the first, 12-8 New Jersey in the second, 13-9 New Jersey in the third. Final shots are 38-32 in favor of the Devils. Power plays 0-2 for New Jersey, 1-2 for Arizona. New Jersey was the more physical team, 25 hits to the 11 for Arizona. Kakinen, 12 saves on 15 shots. Nico Dawes was perfect in relief, although I will say I thought Arizona had a better first period than they did second or third. Dawes saves all 16 shots he faced. Vejmelka saves 37 out of 38. So, yeah, Arizona's doing a pretty good job of playing the role of spoiler, and you have to watch for that this time of year. All right, next up. Tampa Bay and Florida. This game was all about punching and scoring and punching, and more scoring and more punching. So it was Vasilevsky versus Bobrovsky. I had to start this one on Sportsnet Plus because my NHL Center Ice wasn't broadcasting it. The channel didn't work until about 5-6 minutes into the game, something like that. So thankfully I have the Sportsnet Plus package where I can watch it on there. But yeah, anyways, 20 seconds in, Stamkos scored, so if I'd been waiting for it on my TV, I wouldn't have seen it. On a 2-on-1 rush, he buries one. He ties Mikita in goals all time with that one. Chernak with the assist. I'm pretty sure it said Stan Mikita. So it's 1-0 Tampa. Panthers look to respond. Paul has a chance that's saved and cleared. Tarasenko has a rush that's defended. The shots are 5-3 Tampa, 5.5 minutes in. We get a power play for Florida. That's killed off. 2 shots on net. Kucherov fires one wide on a rush, and then at 13:21, and it didn't look like it had gone in initially, but it did. Asimont from Perbix and Chernak. He was on a breakaway. He buried his own rebound. So it looked like maybe it had been held, but nope, he put it in. Power play then for Tampa. We get 1:23 of 4-on-4. It's a 4-minute penalty. There's a lot of penalties in this one. Barkov gets denied. It's cleared out with 2:06 left. The Bolts with a delay of game call. Montour has a blast that's held. That's killed off. There were 13 power plays in this game, so a lot to keep track of. And after the first period, it's 2-0 for Tampa. Second period, Panthers press at 1.5 minutes, but Radish would score top far corner from the right circle at 3:02. Duclair and Stamkos with the assist, so there's Duclair on the board again. That makes it 3-0. The Panthers score, but there's a penalty on the play. I'm not sure why they didn't blow the whistle before the puck went in the net, but at any rate, there's a penalty on the play, and Kulikov gets 5 minutes for a check to the head, so he's out of the game. So it's 2 minutes of 4-on-4 first, and then it becomes a 5-on-4 for Tampa, and then it became a 5-on-3. They score with that. Stamkos with his second of the game. Hedman and Kucherov with the assists at 8:59. And then Florida does score shorthanded. Matthew Tkachuk from Mahura at 8:23 on a 3-on-1 rush. Apparently that's the first career shorthanded goal for Matthew Tkachuk. Might I suggest that they try him shorthanded a little more often? Teams generally now do put their star players out there shorthanded. You get more shorthanded goals that way, as long as they can play the defensive side of things, of course. Panthers finish the kill. The shots are 6-3 Florida with 9.5 minutes left. We get a power play for the Panthers, and they score on it. It is Reinhart. He gets a goal on the power play because that's what he does, from Tkachuk and Bennett at 11:55. The shots are 12-2 for Florida with 6 minutes left. And it doesn't get prettier before the period's over for Tampa. We get a power play for the Panthers. That becomes 53 seconds of 5-on-3. There was a shorthanded rush by Hagel. Near miss there. That power play's killed off. It's 4-2 for Tampa after 2. Third period, Panthers press at 2.5 minutes. In fact, the shots are 5-0 for Florida 3 minutes into this. Panthers press at 5.5 minutes. Bolts get pinned down, but they do clear it out. They do survive there. We get a power play for the Panthers. That's killed off. Then Tampa Bay gets a power play. That was killed off as well. Tampa goes back to the power play. At this point, of course, Florida fans not very happy. That's killed off as well. And then at 16:08, it's Reinhart unassisted, getting the game a little bit closer, making it 4-3. So the goalie pull happens with a little over 2 minutes left. At 18:28, Kucherov, to resounding boos, gets the empty netter. Hagel and Stamkos with the assists. With 23.3 seconds left, Tampa Bay goes to a power play, which essentially ends the game. And with 6.3 seconds left, everybody starts punching one another, because why not? And so, yeah, it's a punchy finish. 5-3 is your score. Tampa Bay wins the war. 36-25-6 with the 5-3 win. Florida 45-19-4 with the loss. Shots on net, 12-11 Florida in the first, 18-3 Florida in the second, and 20-2 Florida in the third. After the game, the shots are 50-16 for Florida. So it's like after the first period, the Tampa Bay Lightning just went to Vasilevsky and went, "Hey, dude, it's up to you. Why? You're going to get all the shots." So Tampa Bay went 0 for 6 on the power play. Florida 1 for 7. Hits 24-14 for Florida. Vasilevsky saved 47 out of 50. He was fantastic. Bobrovsky, kind of an ugly stat line at 11 saves on 15 shots. So yeah, Tampa Bay, huge win today. All right, next up. Philadelphia and Boston. This was bonkers. This was absolutely bonkers. So it's Sandstrom versus Swayman. They had a nice ceremony for Van Riemsdyk for his 1,000th game before the game started. Makes sense against Philadelphia to have that ceremony then as well. Bruins have a 2-on-1 that's broken up at 4:18. Paling gets a one-timer on a 2-on-1. It was only the second shot of the game for Philadelphia, and that's a harbinger of what's to come to save percentages in this game. Hathaway and Zamula with the assists. The shots are 4-0 Philadelphia at 6.5 minutes. Flyers press at the half. The Bruins press are kept to the outside. With 8.5 minutes left in the first period, the Bruins didn't have a shot yet. So Philadelphia definitely has got to be scratching their heads about how this one fell apart. Lindholm has a shot that's held as the Bruins press. Marchand has a shot that deflects out. There's some pushing. And then at 15:51, Geekie scores. DeBrusk and Wotherspoon with the assist. So Geekie continues to rack up career highs for himself. 2:05 left. Philadelphia to the power play. Does it suck? Yep. So we go to the second period with the score tied at 1. Second period. Shots are 3-0 Boston at 2.5 minutes. So they have the strong start. Grizzlies tonight on a rush. There's a near miss for DeBrusk. There's a net feed to Beecher. Near miss there. Johnny Beecher was great tonight. I do not understand why he hasn't been in Boston's lineup a lot more than he has. There have been calls with their lineup that I've been scratching my head over this season. So things get punchy and pushy on most whistles. That's why I wasn't writing it down. I just put it right there because these teams don't like each other. We get a power play for Philly. Does it suck? No. Pretty early in it, they score. Farabee from York and Tippett at 12:01. Teams then trade rushes. We get a power play for Boston. McAvoy has a chance that's held. And then Coyle gets the power play marker. Marchand and Zaka with the assists at 15:22. So it stays even till the end of the period. And then there's some pushing and shoving and punching at the horn. So we have 2 minutes of 4-on-4 to start the third period, which works just fine for Boston. They were very good last year, 4-on-4. Not as memorable this year, 4-on-4, but they do score in this case. Coyle from Pasternak and Lindholm at 1:08. Flyers look to respond, but at 3:45, Boston scores again. It's Johnny Beecher. Keep him in the lineup. He scores from Peak and Boquist, and then at 4:04, they score again. It's DeBrusk from Marchand and Lindholm. This is where the Flyers call a timeout, and Tortorella said very little. He doesn't have to say much. They've allowed 3 goals in 3 minutes. You don't have to say much to your team. They know exactly what the problem is, especially since this is a veteran lineup in Philadelphia. You had a power play for the Flyers. Does it suck? Well, Konechny's denied. There's a near miss for Frost, and yep, it's done. It sucks. Power play for the Bruins. That's killed off. And then good forechecking by Couturier leads to a goal. Delorier with the assist, or with the goal from Couturier at 14-12. So that makes it a little bit closer. The Flyers look for another, and they get it at 15-14. Frost goes 5-hole on a rush. It was a nice between-the-legs goal. Tippett and York with the assists. Suddenly we're in a 1-goal game. But Heinen would answer at 17:01 from Frederick. Extends that lead. There's that insurance goal. And then Philadelphia, who never said die today. They score again. Farabee on a wraparound. Tippett and Konechny with the assists at 17:56. With 1:34 left, Boston calls a timeout. I don't blame them there because you got to make sure you got your game together here. You're only up by 1. Whatever they discussed seemed to have worked because they held on. They win this one 6-5. So it's an 80s game. 40-14-5 is the record for Boston with the 6-5 win. Ugly win. Philadelphia 34-26-8. Rough loss for Philadelphia. Shots on net 8-5 Philly in the first, 15-10 Boston in the second, 11-9 Philly in the third. The final shots are 29 apiece. Power plays Philadelphia 0 for 3, Boston 1 for 2. The hits 36-35 for Boston. Sandstrom saved 23 out of 29. Rough stat line, but Swayman saved 24 out of 29. So rough stat line for him as well. And so, yeah, there you go. All right, and the last one on this board, the San Jose Sharks and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Everybody wants to know what happened here, right? Corona versus Tarasov, early jump for Columbus. The shots are 2-0 in their favor, 2.5 minutes in. Sharks press at 5 minutes. There's a blocker save on Carpenter. The Jackets press at 8 minutes. The teams exchange turnovers, and late in the period at 17:41, Jenner on the backhand on a 2-on-1 rush scores from Gaudreau. So it's 1-0 Columbus after 1. Second period at 49 seconds on a zone entry, Nylander scores from Provorov, although everybody on the Columbus broadcast still calls him Nylander, which is weird. I did pronounce it Nylander when the channel started. I was corrected by the entire internet. I say Nylander now. Bailey has a shot that's saved. The Sharks draw a power play. McDonald has a shot that's held. That's killed off. Columbus then gets a power play. That's killed off as well. There's a press by Columbus at the half, and then it's San Jose that gets a goal here. Zetterlund from Ferraro and Granlund at 11:48. It's 5-hole on a deflection. This may have been changed back to Granlund's goal because I don't know that it was touched by Zetterlund, but either way, San Jose is on the board. Sharks press with 7 minutes left, but at 15:03, Johnny Gaudreau gets a goal. He scores from Nylander and Jenner, so there's Nylander with an assist as well today. With 22 seconds left, the Sharks get a power play, so they're down 3-1 after 2. They need a goal on the power play. And in the third period, Columbus finishes the kill. 1 shot in total for San Jose there. Columbus presses at 3.5 minutes. The shots are 2 apiece, 4.5 minutes in. Provorov has a shot that's blocked and cleared. The Sharks press, Columbus blocking. Power play for San Jose, that's killed off. And then on a rush, Thrun gets a goal from LeBanc at 11:42 to make it a little bit closer. Columbus presses with 6 minutes left. The Sharks press with 4.5 minutes left. Jackets leaning on Tarasov heavily at this point in the game. Goalie pull happens with 2 minutes left, and Nylander hits the empty net from Gaudreau at 18:55. That leads to some pushing at the horn after everything's all done, but Columbus wins 4-2. They go to 23-33-11 on the season. For the Sharks, 16-43-7. Shots on net 11-9 San Jose in the first, 11-7 San Jose in the second, 19-4. 19-4 San Jose in the third. Final shots 41-20 for the Sharks. Power play San Jose 0 for 3, Columbus 0 for 1. The hits 20-9 for Columbus. Corona saved 16 out of 19. Tarasov, good night for him. 39 saves on 41 shots. Now I need to change boards. Next up, we have the Montreal Canadiens and the Calgary Flames. All right, so Primo versus Wolf in this one. Anderson with a near miss on a rush. That's Josh Anderson. Got to be careful because there's Rasmus Anderson on the other side. Shots are 4-2 Montreal at 2.5 minutes. The Habs press at 6 minutes. Goalie has a shot that saved. The Flames clear. Kuzmenko with a near miss on a turnover. Suzuki fires one high on a 2-on-1 rush. The Habs press with 6 minutes left. Calgary ends up getting a power play, and they score on it. It is Backlund from Uyghur and Manjapani at 16:23. Then with 2:04 left, the Habs get a power play. Slafkovsky has a one-timer that's held. There's a shorthanded 2-on-1. Rooney's shot's blocked there. That power play's killed off. It's 1-0 Calgary after the first. Second period, 11 seconds in, Backlund puts one into an open net. Coleman and Uyghur with the assists. And yeah, Montreal just caught off guard there. 2-0 Calgary, good play. Habs press for response. They get more pressure at 6.5 minutes. Suzuki has a net feed. That deflects out. The shots are 6-4 Calgary, 7 minutes in. And at 7:41, it's Pospisil scoring to make it 3-0. Huberdeau and Kadri with the assists. So it stays 3-0 until Caulfield answers. It's been a while since he got a goal. He gets this one from Suzuki and Slafkovsky at 10:34. Flames press for a response after that. We get a power play for Calgary. That becomes a minute of 4-on-4. Everything's killed off there. Habs go back to the power play. That was killed as well. There's a press by the Habs after it ends, and eventually they score. Savard wires one past a screen. Pearson with the assist at 18:25. That makes the game 3-2. A little bit tense going into the third. There's a net feed to Coleman. Near miss there. Slafkovsky's denied. He goes to the box for goalie interference, which Montreal didn't like that call. Kadri then scores 6 seconds in, which makes them like the call less. Huberdeau and Sharangovich with the assists at 1:01. And then at 3:54, it's Miramanov. Apparently all he needed to do was get out of Vegas. Miramanov has a goal from Uyghur and Backlund, so that makes it 5-2. Shots are 9-6 for the Habs at 9.5 minutes. Caulfield fires one wide from the slot. The Flames would press with 6 minutes left, and in the end, they win this one 5-2. They go to 33-29-5 with the win. With the loss, Montreal 25-31-11 overall. Shots on net favored Montreal the whole way through. 15-9 in the first, 12-10 in the second, 11-9 in the third. Final shots 38-28 for Montreal. Power plays, the Habs 0 for 3, Calgary 2 for 3. The hits 20-17 for Calgary. Primo saved 23 out of 28. Wolf. There you go. Wolf's in the NHL. He had a really good game. 36 saves on 38 shots. So in the event that Calgary decides to make a change in net for next season, I think Wolf should be just perfectly fine. But if you're a Flames fan, let me know if you agree or if you say, no, wait, that's just a couple of good games here. All right, next up, Carolina and Toronto. This felt like a playoff game. It's Kochetkov versus Samsonov. Early press by Toronto. There's more pressure by Toronto 3 minutes in. Domi has a net drive. That's blocked. The shots are 3-1 for the Leafs 7 minutes in. There's Sammy Chance after some big saves. And I think Samsonov, after that trip down to the AHL, he's been quite good. Nylander has a rush chance. That's held. The Canes are breaking up rush chances. We get a power play for Toronto. That becomes 43 seconds of 4-on-4. Then a Canes power play, which leads to a shorthanded chance for Dewar that's held. Everything's killed off there. Leafs go back to the power play. There's a near miss for Robertson. That's killed off. 1:58 left. The Canes get a power play. Had opportunities, but that's killed off as well. It's 0-0 after 1. Second period. Svechnikov's denied and close as the Canes press. Domi's denied and close as well. That play's held. And then on a turnover, Tavares opens the scoring for Toronto from Brody at 4:47. The Leafs press at 6.5 minutes. Or at 5.5 minutes, I should say. And at almost 6.5 minutes, at 6:27, Nylander scores from Riley. We then get a power play for the Canes. That leads to a shorthanded rush by Matthews towards the end of it, which finishes the kill. And then Robertson at 12:03 scores from Tavares and Liljegren. He needs to be in the lineup all the time for Toronto, I think. He's very skilled forward. That makes it 3-0, but it's Carolina. So at 13:27, Carolina answers. It's Martinook from Fast and Burns. Canes press with 3.5 minutes left. Momentum definitely shifted after that 3-1 goal. Canes press with a minute and a half left. Eventually they draw a power play with 1:09 left and they would score on it. It's Jarvis from Gensel and Aho at 19:57. So closing seconds, he roofs a rebound there. It's 3-2 Toronto after 2. Third period, Edmondson prevents a goal at one end and then Camp scores at the other from Morgan Riley at 2:55. So Toronto with that 2-goal lead back. Matthews fires one wide from the slot. We get a power play for the Leafs. That's killed off. Shots are 6-5 Toronto with 9.5 minutes left. So they're doing a good job of controlling Carolina, but it is Carolina. The goalie pull happens with 3.5 minutes left with 2:54 left. The Canes call a timeout. We go to 6-on-4 because Leafs penalty. There's a near miss for Gensel. Aho does not miss. He scores to make it a 1-goal game from Gensel and Orlov at 18:28. They pull the goalie again, and they score again. It is Aho with his second goal in a row. Burns and Kuznetsov with the assists at 19:54. Very quiet crowd at this point. We're going to overtime. In the overtime, the Canes controlled early. Slavin has a shot that saved it, deflects out. There's a near miss for Tavares. Kuznetsov's then denied at the other end. Domi couldn't bury one in close. There's a power play for Toronto. That's killed off. We're going to a shootout. In the shootout, Jake Gensel scores in the 4th round to get the winner. I think it was the 4th round. Anyways, or it was the 3rd round. It was the last one. Your final score is 5-4. Carolina comes out of this with 2 points with the shootout win. They go to 41-20-6. I thought Toronto played pretty well. They would want to work on the finish of this game, but they're 38-19-9 with the point. Shots on net, 9 apiece in the first, 16-14 Carolina in the second, 13-11 Carolina in the third, 6-2 Toronto in the overtime. Final shots are 40 apiece. Power plays, 2 for 5 for Carolina, 0 for 4 for Toronto. The hits, 38-25 for the Leafs. Kochetkov saves 36 out of 40, and so did Samsonov. So there you go. Their numbers match. All right, next up, the LA Kings and the Dallas Stars. So it's Riddick versus Wedgwood. I don't think the Kings want to see Dallas at all the rest of the year. And what I mean by that is this is the end of the regular season meetings. I don't think they want to meet them in the playoffs either. So early press by Dallas, and at 2:28, Harley with one that sort of sits on Riddick's arm, and he brings his arm in, and yeah, it goes in the net. Foxa with the assist there. It's 1-0 for Dallas. It was a lob, and he couldn't find it, and it landed on his arm and went in the net. Stars press for another. Stankoven has a rush chance that saved. The Stars have a 3-on-2 that goes offside. You could see they were really flying. And at 8:49, Craig Smith scores. He gets one from Heiskanen and Harley. So Harley with the goal and an assist already. We then get a power play for the Kings. That's killed off. Things get pushy on a hold by Riddick. Kings press with 6 minutes left, but Dallas would score again. Johnston gets this one from Suter and Stankoven at 15:15. The Stars press for another. It's 3-0 after 1. So Kings probably not very happy with that. We get a power play for Dallas early in the second period, and they score on it. It is Ben from Pavelski and Heiskanen at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's where the scoring stops for Dallas. Like, all right, well, we got it. We got 4 goals. All right. Roy has a shot this blocker decides. Stars go back to the power play. That's killed off. Shots are 5-4 Dallas, 8 minutes in. Kings press at the half, but they're kept to the outside. I thought Dallas protected the net pretty well tonight. Delandria fans on an opportunity. Ben has a net drive. That's blocked. Laferriere had a rush chance that's saved. It's a 4-0 after 2. Third period, 1 minute and 11 seconds in. Face-off win by Dubois goes to Fiala, and Fiala roofs it. So early in the period, it's now a 3-goal lead for Dallas. Kaliev's denied on a 3-on-2 rush. The shots are 5-0 for the Kings at 4 minutes. Gavrikov has a shot that's blocked. The Stars are pinned down a little bit here. Danault has a slot shot that's held by holding the puck. Means you get the line change. And then the Kings press at 8.5 minutes. Heiskanen has a shot that's blocked as the Stars press, but yeah, this game was done. 4-1's your final for Dallas. They go to 41-19-9 with the win. The Kings, again, don't want to see Dallas the rest of the year. 34-22-11 with the loss. Shots on net, 12 apiece in the first, 10-9, or 10-7, I should say, for Dallas in the second, 9-7 LA in the third. Final shots, 29-28 for Dallas. Power plays 0 for 1 for LA, 1 for 2 for Dallas. The hits 42-18 for LA, a little more physical. Riddick saved 25 out of 29. Wedgwood was pretty good. I think he's honestly been the better of their 2 goaltenders over the last month. Saves 27 out of 28. Not that that's going to matter. Playoff time, we know it is Ottinger's net, right? All right, next up. Minnesota and St. Louis. So this one, Fleury versus Binnington. We were in for a goaltending duel here. Rossi has a shot that's held. The shots are 3 apiece at 4 minutes, and it stayed that way for quite some time. The Wild press at 5 minutes. Both teams blocking the front of the net. We then get 2 minutes of 4-on-4, and I thought, hey, we'll get some shots out of this. We didn't. Faber has a net drive that's blocked. Both goalies were sharp when tested. Not that they were overly busy in the first period, but hey, maybe that's a way to catch a goalie off guard. He doesn't have very many shots. Good flow, fast game. This was much faster than this one. Blues press in the final minute. Faber has a slapper that's held in the closing seconds. It's 0-0 after 1. Second period. Early press by the Blues. There's more pressure by St. Louis 2.5 minutes in. Things get pushy at the Wild net. The Wild then press. They're kept to the outside by St. Louis. Thomas Deschênes gets picked off in front of the net. Shots are 2-0 St. Louis at 4.5 minutes. We then get a power play for the Blues, and they score on it. It is Kyrou from Neighbors and Thomas at 5:49. At this point, Minnesota has 6 shots on net. That's it. 6 shots on net at this point in the game. So the shots are 5-0 for the Blues 7 minutes in. The Wild press at 9 minutes. Rossi has a slot shot. That's blocked. Middleton has a net feed that's blocked as well. We get a power play for the Blues. That's killed off. Shen has a screenshot that's held by Fleury. It's 1-0 St. Louis after 2. Third period, 27 seconds in, Shen makes it 2-0 from Kyrou and Leddy. So that should be enough. You got a 2-goal lead at home, third period, but Bolduc just falls down, loses an edge, and he falls down, and Minnesota takes advantage. Rossi scores from Kaprizov in 1:10. So tough break for Bolduc. These things happen. Wild then looked to tie it. We had a fight between Shaw and Walker during a Fleury hold. It's unusual that a goalie holds the puck and then we have a fight right after, but happened right there. Shots are 3-2 Minnesota at 4.5 minutes. The Blues press at 9 minutes. Boldy is absolutely just robbed on a breakaway. Wild press with 8 minutes left. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. At 16:01, Kaprizov scores to tie it from Zuccarello and Bogosian. The Blues look to respond, but we're going to overtime. Wild 4-5 in overtime. The Blues 5-2 in overtime. Those records would stay as is. Blues controlled early. Zuccarello has a shot that's held. It was very much a possession type overtime. There wasn't a lot of really big opportunities. We go to a shootout, and Jordan Kyrou wins it in the shootout. Shots on net in this one, 11-6 St. Louis in the first, 12-8 St. Louis in the second, 13-8 St. Louis in the third, 2-1 in Minnesota, 2-1 for Minnesota in the overtime. Final shots 37-24 for the Blues. Minnesota did not have a power play. St. Louis went 1 for 2. The hits 22-14 St. Louis. Fleury saves 35 out of 37. Bennington saved 22 out of 24. So I need to change boards. All right, just a 3-game board here, and we're going to get over this. So we're going to start off talking about Colorado and Edmonton. All right, sure. Georgiev versus Skinner. This might be a preview of the Western Conference Final, and if it is, count me in. This was a pretty good game. So it's McDavid having a rush chance that's held, and that was a storyline tonight. Georgiev really had his number. The shots are 2 apiece at 4.5 minutes. The Oilers' press are kept to the outside. The Abs doing a good job of blocking any kind of path to the net. The Oilers press at 8.5 minutes. Draisaitl has a one-timer that saved. McDavid has a wraparound. He's denied there. The Oilers, heavy pressure. The Abs do clear it out and relieve that. Power play for Colorado, that's killed off. It's 0-0 after 1. Second period. Early Oilers power play, that's killed off. Fogle has a wraparound chance, that's saved. The shots are 3-0 Edmonton, 4 minutes in. Drouin gets a penalty shot, that's saved. Teams exchange turnovers. Fogle to McLeod near miss. Draisaitl to McLeod misses as well. That's where I thought to myself, maybe stop passing it to McLeod. Taves has a rush chance that's held. I kid. McKinnon then has a one-timer that's saved, and then on a fast break, Sean Walker from Lehkonen at 10:38. Abs fans, I've been saying all season, Sean Walker's a good defenseman. I did not understand why people weren't clamoring for him at the deadline. Maybe it's because he played in Philly, but I think for Abs fans, they've got to be happy with Walker right now. The Oilers press for a response. Parisi has a rush chance that's saved. The Abs are really dangerous in transition in this one. Teams exchange rushes. Things get punched and a hold by Skinner in the final minute. It's 1-0 Abs after 2. Third period. The Oilers tie it. It's reviewed for a kick. They decide it was a kick. There's a lot of booing. I understand why they called it a kick. I also understand the booing. And so the shots are 2 apiece, 4 minutes in. And then Fogle, what a beast of a shift he had. First he gets denied, then he keeps the puck in at the blue line, and then he goes to the net and he gets a nice goal. Bouchard with the assist at 5:46. I think Fogle should have had his own secondary assist on that one. The Avs look to answer. Can you imagine if they brought that in, where if you pass it to the guy who passes it to you and you score, you get 2 points on the same goal? Anyways, the Avs look to answer. There's got to be a stat on that somewhere, doesn't there? So the Avs press at 7 minutes. The Oilers press at 7 minutes, and the Avs get some pressure at 8 minutes. This was a tit-for-tat kind of game. Bouchard has a blast that's held. McDavid has a net drive that's saved. And then Sam Carrick with his first as an Oiler. Good timing. Janmark and Perry with the assist at 11:48. Corey Perry gets his 900th point. He didn't even have a stick when he made the pass. He kicked it to Janmark. So that makes it 2-1 for the Oilers, but it's Colorado. So Sean Walker on a one-timer from the slot gets the second goal of the game. Middlestad and Drouin with the assists at 14:38. It's a tie game. We're going to overtime. The Oilers control early. Nugent-Hopkins is denied on a break. Walker fires one wide on a rush. And then just as I was putting the word shootout on the board, Lehkonen scores from McKinnon at 4:59. So McKinnon keeps his point streak alive. Eventually, the Avs win this in overtime, 3-2. They go to 43-20-5. Very impressive win. The Oilers were impressive as well. 40-21-4 with the overtime loss. Shots on net, 10-7 Edmonton in the first, 16-9 Colorado in the second, 18-11 Colorado in the third, 4-3 Edmonton in the overtime. Final shots, 44-34 for the Avs. Power plays, both teams 0 for 1. The hits, 39-33 for Edmonton. They definitely let them play tonight. The fans were very upset at some of the non-calls. The non-calls went both ways. Georgiev, 32 saves on 34 shots. I think he's very good. I think Skinner is underrated, 41 saves on 44 shots. I'm just saying it. I think Skinner's had a really good year after what was a pretty rough start. All right, next up, Nashville and Seattle. So Nashville just keeps rolling, and for Seattle, this is a tough one. Seattle, there's been a lot of, they're still in this, but it does feel like Homer chasing the pig. So it's still good. Anyways, Saros versus Grubauer. Lauzon fires one wide as the Preds press early. I try not to have Preds and press right next to each other because that can throw me off, but I did it there and I got it. So Kraken had the lone shot on net 3 minutes in. Nyquist has a net drive that's picked off. There's a power play for Nashville. That's killed off. Beniers has a net drive that saved. The shots are 7-4 Nashville with 7 minutes left. At 15:36, Novak on a net feed, he puts it in off Schultz's skate. So Schultz is trying to block it, accidentally kicks it in his own net. McDonough and Jankowski with the assist there. The Kraken would press in the final minute looking to tie it. It's 1-0 Nashville after 1. Second period. Zucker can't bury one in close. We get a power play for Nashville. There's a shorthanded 2-on-1 that misfires. That power play is killed off. We get a power play for the Kraken. That was killed off as well. Shots are 3-2 Nashville at 9 minutes. The Preds get some pressure at the half. There were 8 Seattle shots halfway through this game. They did get shots at a higher rate the rest of the way, but yeah, this was a very Nashville type game. Kraken press with 5 minutes left. Schultz has a shot that's held. 31.4 seconds left. Tanev draws a power play. So it's 1-0 Nashville after 2. Power play rolls over into the third. Seattle does score on it late, but they score on it at 1:24. It's Burakovsky from Evans and Bjorkstrand to tie the game at 1. He wired that one from the near side from the right circle. Near miss for Nyquist on a rush. Nashville draws a power play and they score on it. Yossi buries a rebound for his 16th goal of the season. Forsberg and Nyquist with the assists at 3:59 to restore their lead. Shots are 6-4 Kraken 6 minutes in. O'Reilly has a rebound that's saved, and then at 9:03, Yossi gets the 17th goal and second of the period. Evangelista and Jankowski with the assists. Again, do not count out Yossi in the Norris Trophy voting. I think he's going to get some votes. Preds were controlling it up by 2. This really wasn't in any doubt. Jankowski has a tip shot that's held. They pull the goalie. And at 18:40, Forsberg hits the empty net for the insurance. Your final score is 4-1. Nashville goes to 39-25-4 with the win. With the loss, Seattle 28-26-12. But it's still good. Shots on net, 10-5 Nashville in the first, 8-7 Nashville in the second. Both teams had 12 shots in the third. Final shots 30-24 Nashville. Power plays, the Preds go 1 for 3. Seattle goes 1 for 2. The hits, 33-25 Seattle. Saros saves 23 out of 24. Grubauer saved 26 out of 29. So again, for Seattle, their hopes for the playoffs take a hit. But Nashville at this point, their point streak is so ridiculous. They have to be looking at teams above them and thinking, well, can we? We're 14 games above 500. We can at least entertain the idea we might be able to catch somebody above us. All right, that being said, Washington came into Vancouver tonight and they did it. They instituted a Washington game. So Yvonne was at this game. Apparently had a gentleman flirting with her and trying to explain the game to her during the game. Yep. She had a guy sitting next to her and trying to explain to her how hockey worked. So that happened. So I can't wait for her to tell you fine people that bring it up in a live stream because she was really impressed. So it's mansplaining's a thing. Lindgren versus DeSmith. And I do that sometimes. Like sometimes I'll do that just to bother her. I'll be like, hey, you know what's going on here? Like I know what she knows what's going on. Anyways. Early press by the Canucks, and Besser scores at 1:11 from Hughes and Mikheyev. So they sent me a voice message of Brock Besser, but at any rate, that's where the happiness ends for Vancouver. Shots are 2-0 Vancouver at 4.5 minutes, but this very quickly started to look like it was being played. As Yvonne messaged me, she's like, it's like they're playing keep away. And I said, that's how the Caps play. The Caps play a very low event game, and if they can keep it a low event game, they win it. And I said they can be boring to watch. I'm sorry. So the Canucks press at 5.5 minutes. The Caps press at 9.5 minutes. Canucks block there. Press by Washington with 7 minutes left. Lindholm has a net feed that's blocked. The shots are 5-3 for the Canucks with 5 minutes left. But again, they've only had 3 shots since 4.5 minutes into the period. Caps press in the final minute. There's only 12 shots in that first period, a very Washington-like game, but it's 1-0 Vancouver. Second period, Caps had the early jump. Garland has a wrister that's held. The shots on net are 2-0 Vancouver, 4.5 minutes in. Same as in the first period, but it doesn't stay that way. Caps press are kept to the outside, and then on a face-off win, Wilson buries one in close. Miroshnichenko and Carlson with the assists at 6 minutes. That's Miroshnichenko's first NHL assist, I do believe. And then at 7:54, Ovechkin puts one in from the side of the net. McMichael and Alexiev with the assists. So Ovechkin now sitting, 54 goals behind Gretzky, 55 from the all-time record, I think. Canucks just kept icing the puck. Both of those goals, too, by Washington were after icings. The first one was an icing the Canucks didn't like, neither did the fans, but I don't know, clear it without icing it. Anyways, I'm not going to make an excuse. It's just basically, they've got to figure out a way to fix that. That if you don't like the calls, you've got to go out there and play the game. Anyways, Sandin has a shot that's held during a power play for Washington after that. And that power play's killed off. But 6 minutes left. The shots are 12-2 for Washington. They don't really even up by the time the period's done either. The Canucks press with 3.5 minutes left. Things get pushy on a hold by Lindgren, but it's 2-1 Washington after 2. This team is very good in close games. Washington's weird. If it's a really high scoring game, they're dead. If it's a really low scoring, low event game, they're going to win. So third period, blocker save on Cole early. We get a power play for the Canucks. That's killed off. The Caps press after it's done. Shots are 5-0 for Vancouver 5.5 minutes in. Things get pushy on an icing for the Canucks. And you could even hear, I believe it was McMichael saying, "Why are you so mad?" It's one of the funniest things the microphones picked up because there was no swearing. There was no actual anger in his voice. He sounded genuinely perplexed. Like, why are you so mad? What's the problem? It's an icing. Deal with it. So I thought that was funny. Ovechkin to Oshie, there's a near miss there. Sandin has a shot that's saved as the Caps press. Canucks press with 6 minutes left. They pull the goalie with 2 minutes left. They don't really generate a whole lot with the goalie pulled, and they lose this one 2-1 at home. The Caps, huge win for the Caps. They go to 32-25-9 on the season. For Vancouver, 42-18-8 with the loss. Shots on net are 6 apiece in the first, 14-5 Washington in the second, 11-4 Vancouver in the third. Final shots 24-22 Washington. Power plays, both teams go 0 for 1. The hits 32-15 Vancouver. Lindgren saves 21 out of 22. DeSmith saved 22 out of 24. So overall, not a bad night for yours truly, but for the Canucks, I do have my concerns about this team heading down the stretch here. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.